One of the really cool things about the Nintendo Switch 2 is the expansion that they have made to the Nintendo Switch Online service. They are now bringing GameCube games to the Nintendo Switch Online service. Now, to go ahead and play those games, you've got a couple of different ways that you can do so. Handheld mode, of course. You can use the Joy-Con 2s and the Joy-Con 2 grip, garbage. You can use the Nintendo Switch Pro Controller 2, not garbage, pretty good. Or one of the neat things that they've done is they have now released a Nintendo Switch GameCube inspired controller for the Switch Online services. Let's go ahead. I mean, I love this controller. It's one of my favorite controllers Nintendo has ever produced. And for me, as someone who has had over 45 years worth of video game playing, I absolutely love the original GameCube controller. Let's go ahead, let's take this out of the box and let's compare it to the original to see how it measures up. So good looking box that we have here, very similar to the other Nintendo Switch Online controllers. You've got the window where you can see the controller and everything. Nintendo GameCube controller, Monet, Nintendo GameCube, Control D, Nintendo GameCube, so multi-language. Nothing on the sides, kind of boring there. Nothing on the top besides the Nintendo logo. On the back, it does spell out the fact that the Nintendo GameCube controller is only compatible with the Switch 2 system. The GameCube controller supports the C button, which can open game chat, and the capture button system. Update required, via internet required. Walks through how to connect everything. Let's open this up. Damn it, and I tore the box. So there is the controller itself. I do hope they eventually come out with additional colors. Underneath you do have your USB. This is an A to C charging cable, nothing else down below. Interesting that the controller itself was not wrapped in plastic at all. It just had this little plastic baggie back behind it. That feels really good. It feels very, very accurate. So looking at the face of it, you do have your standard GameCube style analog stick here. The D-pad doesn't look like that's any different in size. We'll measure in just a minute. Same with the C stick. A, B, X, Y look to be perfectly placed and sized. On the top, you do have your USB-C port, your player indicator, home button. That is probably the capture button and the C button. You do have your standard L&R along with your Z trigger too. But yeah, this, if you would have handed me this blind taste test style and just said, what system is this for? It's like, it's GameCube. Let's grab one of our actual GameCube controllers though, and let's do some comparisons. So here we have my original Indigo GameCube controller next to the real deal. Let's just break out the caliper and let's do some measurements. So D-pad side to side on the new one, we're looking at 17.5 millimeters, and on the original, 17.4, so pretty much identical. C-stick, 11.3 versus 11.6, so 14.4 millimeters there, 14.4, 14.4, 14.3 to 4. Let's see, the A button might be kind of hard to get. We're at, 15.8, 15.9. And on the original, 15.8. So I would say that's a pretty good match there. With the controller at the grips, we're looking at its widest point, about 140 millimeters, versus this one here, about 140 millimeters. So looks like same there. Looking at the main difference is going to be really just the fact that this is wireless with USB-C. This is wired. You've got the ZL button is in the same place. The triggers look identical. It even still has the hump here that the original had. Now, one thing I don't know if you can tell, but to me it stands up pretty large, is the fact that, this has kind of a slick sort of finish to it, where this is more of a textured finish. I actually do wish this was the kind of finish that we got on the Pro Controller 2. Yeah, this feels really, really good. Oh, the one thing I did not check is thumbstick size. And 16.4-ish versus this one here, which is gross. So let's say about 16, 15, 8, 16. So it looks like the thumbstick is slightly larger on here. And again, kind of looking side by side, you can see that they did add some material around the top of the thumbstick. Overall, this is a very nice replica of the original, and then it has some additional features added to it. Now, one thing I've yet to do is pair this to the system. Let's go ahead and see how easy that is to do. We're going to hit the home button here, controllers, change grip order, and we're going to hold down the pairing button here. We are cycling through our lights, and you can see here it does have its own separate icon. Now I'm going to turn up the volume here, because a lot of times when you go into Switch Online games or consoles like the NES, Super NES, and 64, and if you have the official controller, it makes a different sound. So we're going to go, let's see, home button is up here, and see again, does this make a special sound? So it kind of does, which is neat. Now, this, like I said earlier, it does a really good job of mimicking the size to style, the face and everything on this. I do like the fact that they got rid of the smooth texture and gave it somewhat of a texture so that it wasn't so slick in your hands. Now, the cool thing too about this is the fact that all new parts, all new stock, so this should last you quite a while. For me personally, I'm excited about other games coming out for this. Like, out of these three, F-Zero GX is probably the one I'm the biggest fan of, but I'm not the biggest fan of that one. I don't like Wind Waker at all. For me, it's one of the worst Zelda games. I couldn't get past the cell shading, and just, it seemed too much, at least for me, looking back now, it seems way too much like Breath of the Wild. Not a type of game I like. And I'm not a huge fighting game fan. If I'm going to play a fighting game, it's going to be Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter, so not a huge Soul Calibur fan. The thing is, though, that you have other options in addition to the official Nintendo Switch 2 GameCube controller. Over the years, our friends over at Retro Fighters have released these controllers here. This is the Duelist, and this is the Battler GC, and I know they are working on firmware updates so that you can use these on this, and I am looking forward to that. Now, if you want to check out some of the reviews that we've done on these controllers and more, I'll have them linked for you in the upper corner here. I'm sure you're going to find something you're going to love.